I killed my best friend today. Not with a gun or a knife, but with the truth she'd buried deeper than her own regrets. She thought swapping our bodies would erase her sins, make me the fall guy for her empire of lies. But as I watched her, trapped in my skin, crumbling under the weight of her own facade, I realized revenge isn't about the end. It's about dragging them through the hell they built for you. It started with a single email, timestamped 2:17 a.m., from the man I called brother. Lucia. Forgive me, it read, attached to a video of my husband confessing to embezzling millions from our family's nonprofit. But he wasn't confessing to me. He was confessing to her, Victoria Hale, the golden girl who'd clawed her way into our lives like a virus in designer heels. I never saw the swap coming. 1 minute. I was Lucia Ramirez, 52-year-old widow running a soup kitchen in Pilsen, Chicago's beating heart for immigrants like my parents had been. The next, I woke up in a penthouse suite at the Peninsula, staring at a face in the mirror that wasn't mine, porcelain skin, Botox-smooth forehead, eyes like polished emeralds hiding daggers. Victoria's face. And in some sterile lab on the North Shore, funded by her biotech fortune, my body, scarred from raising 3 kids alone, hands calloused from ladling soup, harbored her soul. They called it Eidolon Protocol, a black market neural transfer cooked up in Silicon Valley basements and tested on desperate souls. Victoria had pioneered it, or so her TED Talks claimed, promising second chances for the terminally ill. But for her, it was insurance. She'd framed me for the theft, falsified ledgers showing my signature on ghost accounts, emails I'd never sent. My nonprofit? Gutted. My name? Synonymous with fraud in every Chicago Tribune headline.
And why?
Because 20 years ago, I'd covered for her. Covered for the hidden run that killed my own grandson, Tommy. She was behind the wheel, high on coke from a lakeshore party, and I'd lied to the cops. Said it was me driving. Took the plea deal, the community service, the whispers that followed me like shadows. Tommy, 8 years old, gone because I protected her, the sister I never had, the one who'd promised to make it right. But she didn't. She rose, Hale Biotech, board seats, Forbes 30 under 40 turned 50 under 50. I scraped by, burying the secret in midnight vigils at his grave. Until the email. My husband, God rest his cheating soul, had discovered her web of shell companies laundering the stolen funds. He confronted her, and she silenced him with a bullet in a Cicero warehouse. Then, to tie it all off, she needed a patsy.
Me.
The loyal fool who'd already paid once. The swap happened in a haze of chloroform and false pretenses. She'd lured me to a fundraiser at her Gold Coast mansion, spiked my wine with something that tasted like regret. Woke up as her, the world tilting like a bad acid trip. My first act? Not screaming. Not calling 911. I logged into her encrypted laptop, password Tommy Forgiven, the bitch, and downloaded everything. The ledgers. The hidden run dashcam she'd suppressed. The neural logs proving the swap. Evidence. My new ammunition. But power like hers doesn't crumble easy. Victoria, in my body now, wasted no time. By noon, I was on every news feed, tearfully confessing to the embezzlement, begging for mercy. Lucia Ramirez, a trusted advisor, manipulated me, the anchor quoted, my own voice cracking with her scripted sobs. Social media erupted, soup kitchen scam trending, trolls calling for my deportation, Ironic, since my family's been Chicagoans since the Mariel boat lift. Protests outside the soup kitchen. Bricks through windows. And her allies? The mayor. The DA. All in her pocket from campaign donations. I had 72 hours before her lawyers invoked the swap's non-disclosure clause, a legal fiction that made body transfers, medical privacy, punishable by life in Supermax if revealed. Time to move. First stop, my old apartment in Little Village, where my daughter Maria barricaded the door, eyes red from crying. Mom, what the hell happened to your face? She clutched a rosary, the one I'd given her after Tommy. I told her the truth, or enough of it. Showed her the files on a burner drive. She didn't believe at first, thought it was deepfake bullshit from some QAnon fever dream. But when I recited her childhood secret, the one about stealing communion wine to toast her first period, she crumbled. Victoria did this? That snake? After everything? Maria was my anchor. Ex-cop turned PI. Tough as the L train rails. She wired me cash. Got me fake ID. Elena Vasquez. Victoria's distant cousin from Miami. We plotted in whispers over Pozole from the corner taqueria, the steam fogging the windows like secrets. You can't just swap back, she said, stirring the hominy. Her text one way, without the codes. And she's got the mayor's ear. Cops'll bury you. So, not swap back. Destroy her. From the inside. That night, as Victoria and me addressed a press conference, my lips forming her lies about rebuilding trust, I slipped into her world. Board meeting at Hale Biotech's Loop headquarters. Glass walls reflecting the Sears Tower like a monolith of greed. I arrived in her Louboutins. Chanel suit hugging this stolen frame, flashing a smile that felt like acid on my tongue. The execs, white guys in Brooks Brothers, sipping $12 lattes, nodded like I was the second coming. Victoria. The Ramirez fallout, it's tanking our stock, droned her CFO. A weasel named Hargrove. Charts on the smartboard showed red lines plummeting. I leaned forward, channeling every boardroom trope from Succession reruns. Gentlemen, this is opportunity. We pivot, Eidolon as redemption tech. Offer empathy transfers for criminals, swap with victims' families, force rehabilitation. Gasps rippled. Controversial? Hell yes. Ethical minefield? Absolutely. But it bought time, diverted scrutiny from the real rot. And it planted seeds, whispers I'd nurture into vines, choking her empire. By week's end, I'd audited the books myself. Late nights in her office with skyline views that mocked my old view of chain-link fences. Found the laundromat. Offshore accounts funneled through a Milwaukee strip club. Payoffs to the DA's mistress. But deeper, the hidden run file. Digitized and buried. Tommy's tiny shoe. Skid marks on asphalt. Her panicked 911 call hung up mid-dial. She'd run. Left him bleeding under sodium lights. And me? I'd confessed to save her ass. Thinking blood was thicker than justice. What a fool. Revenge brewed slow, like chicory coffee in the South Side. I started small, anonymous tips to reporters, framing them as whistleblower leaks. A Sun-Times piece on Hale's shady donors hit Monday. Stock dipped 8%. Victoria, in my skin, lashed out on X, posting my old mugshot from the plea. Caption: Justice for victims like my dear friend Lucia. The irony burned hotter than jalapenos. But she was closing in. Maria texted, "Cops at the kitchen. Asking about your disappearance. She's spinning you're suicidal. Paranoia clawed me. Sleepless nights in Victoria's king bed, silk sheets tangling like nooses. Dreams of Tommy's laugh echoing in alleyways, cut short by screeching tires. Decision time. Controversial as hell, I'd use Eidolon against her. Hack the protocol. Force a partial swap, not full transfer, but neural bleed. Make her feel Tommy's last moments, my grief, the weight of lies. But it meant risking my own mind, fragments of her memories leaking in, memories of boardroom conquests, lovers in the Maldives. Was it justice or madness? Maria begged me to stop.
Mom, this ain't you.
You're better than her poison. Maybe. But better got Tommy killed. Better kept me silent. I reached out to Dr. Elias Crow, Eidolon's ghost engineer. Holed up in a Wicker Park walk-up. Drowning in bourbon and regret. Victoria had fired him after a glitch fried a test subject. I found him via dark web forums. Posing as her concerned exec. Met at a dive bar off Milwaukee Avenue. Air thick with fryer grease and jukebox blues. You're her, he slurred, squinting at my face. The swap bitch. Help me unswap. And walk free, I lied. Slid him a flash drive with enough dirt to buy his silence or his grave. He laughed, yellow teeth flashing. It's not unswapping. It's rewriting. But it'll cost. Souls don't trade clean. We worked in his basement lab. Jury-rigged servers humming like angry bees. I fed him Victoria's codes, stolen from her safe. As code compiled, her memories hit, flashes of the crash. Her foot slamming brakes too late. Tommy's bike crumpled like tinfoil. She'd sobbed in the ER waiting room, my arms around her, then lawyered up, paying off witnesses. And me, the loyal Latina auntie, taking the fall to keep family whole. Her gratitude? A lifetime of condescension. Charity checks that came with strings. Ready? Crow asked. Needle poised, neural injector. Like a scorpion's tail. I nodded. The bleed started, pain like lightning in veins. Her thoughts worming in. Power is survival. Her voice echoed. You were weak, Lucia. Always. But I pushed back. Planted the hook, Tommy's face in her mind's eye. Not as victim, but judge. Phase 1. Leak the crash footage to a podcaster. Chicago unsolved. It dropped Friday night. Audio only tires. Scream.
Crunch.
Twitter imploded. Hail hit and run. Victoria stock, my stock now, plummeted 22%. Protests swelled outside Hale Tower. Signs reading "Swap Justice for Tommy." She struck back. That night, I showed up at the penthouse, my body, her eyes wild. Lucia? What the fuck is this? Security dragged her in, thinking it a junkie break-in. Up close, seeing myself, gray streaks in hair, I couldn't afford to die. Wrinkles earned from laughter and loss. It twisted something primal. You feel it, don't you? I whispered, circling like a shark. The bleed. Tommy's ghost in your head. Her, my face paled. This is insane. You're the thief. The liar. I made you. You made nothing. You took. I showed her the audit trail, her laundromat exposed.
Dies payoffs wire to Cayman trusts.
Confess. Vicky. Or the full swap logs go public. Every neural spike. Every stolen memory. She lunged, nails raking this pretty face. We grappled, me in her lithe frame. Her and my sturdy one, tumbling over Persian rugs. Fists flew, breaths ragged. I pinned her, knee on chest.
Say it.
You killed him.
You framed me.
Twice. Tears, my tears streamed.
I.
panicked. The drugs.
The party.
You said you'd handle it. Family, right? Family doesn't swap souls to bury sins. Sirens wailed below. Maria's doing. Anonymous 911. Cops burst in. Tasers drawn.
Victoria screamed.
Arrest her. That's the fraud. But the podcaster's drop had tipped scales. Body cams rolling. They separated us. Ma'am, one officer said to me.
We got a tip.
Idolin. It's real? I smiled Victoria's smile. Check the drive in my purse. All of it. As they cuffed her, I felt the bleed peak, her terror flooding in, pure and sharp. Tommy's voice.
Not hers, Grandma.
Make it stop. The twist hit like a freight train from Union Station. In the squad car, en route to lockup, Victoria, trapped in my flesh, started convulsing. Not from tasers. From the code. I'd rigged it wrong.
Or right.
A crow's final tweak, not bleed, but severance. Her neural map. Incompatible with my body's scars. Old fractures from a factory job. Chemo echoes from breast cancer I'd beaten alone. Her mind rejected, fragmenting. By holding cell, she was catatonic, muttering Tommy's name like a prayer gone sour. Doctors swarmed. Idolin exposed in frantic calls. The swap logs? They proved not just theft, but murder. My husband's bullet traced to her bodyguard's Glock. Serial matched in the files. But the reversal. Forensics on the crash footage. Timestamp glitch. Not her Bentley.
Mine.
I'd loaned it that night. Keys on the hall table. Dashcam, doctored by her. But the original server pinged from my phone's IP. Panic in my veins too, coke residue on the dash. Not hers, but mine. From a stress binge after chemo.
Tommy.
I'd swerved. Hit a pothole. But the skid said otherwise. Had I blacked out? Pushed the pedal in rage at life's cruelties?
No.
The real bomb, a suppressed witness statement. Buried by her lawyers. The hit and run was assisted suicide. Tommy, battling leukemia we'd hidden, asked me to make it quick. A mercy, whispered in his hospital bed, echoed in my nightmares. Victoria knew, held my hand as I cried, but twisted it. Framed me fully to cover her own embezzlement kickback from the nonprofit's cancer fund. She'd siphoned treatment's money. Left him to wither. My confession? Not protection. Amnesia. Grief-fueled lie to absolve the unthinkable. The world spun. I wasn't the patsy. I was the monster she'd mirrored. Trial 6 months later. Circuit court. Downtown. Under fluorescent glare. Victoria. Vegetative in a wheelchair. My face slack as a mask. I testified in her body. Voice steady. She stole my life. Literally. Juries gasped at the Idolin demo, holographic brain scans flickering like faulty fireworks. Verdicts stacked. Fraud. Manslaughter, husband. Conspiracy.
But me?
Charges dropped on the theft, her doing. Pinned clean. The crash? Ruled accident. Mercy unspoken. Sealed by statute. Maria hugged me post-verdict. Outside the courthouse where pigeons scavenged crumbs like truths. You did it.
Mom.
Justice. Did I? In the mirror now, Victoria's face stared back, youth eternal, but eyes hollow as pills and alleys. I could reverse the swap. Crow's final code waiting.
But why?
This shell had power, board dissolved, but Hale's remnants mine to rebuild. Soup kitchens funded tenfold. Tommy's fund legit now. Or let her rot in my old body, warehoused in state care, while I vanished new face, new lies. Ending? Debatable as a Windy City election. Hero? I avenged a ghost. Toppled a queen. Villain? I ended a boy. Buried it deeper than she ever could. Freedom tastes like ash and adrenaline. What's a soul worth when it's not your own? The aftermath wasn't fireworks and champagne toasts in some river north rooftop bar. It was fallout, the kind that buries cities under ash clouds you can't outrun. With Victoria catatonic in a state-funded memory ward up in Elgin, irony's cruelest cut, her biotech billions frozen in asset seizures, I inherited the husk of Hale Biotech. Not as savior, but scavenger. Creditors circled like vultures over a magnificent mile carcass, demanding audits that peeled back layers of her deceit like onion skin. I renamed it Eidolon Legacy, pivoting to ethical neural therapies, migraine cures, PTSD bridges for vets from Fort Bragg deployments. PR spin. Sure, but it worked. Stock rebounded 15% in Q1. Whispers of Phoenix rising in Crane's Chicago business. Maria rolled her eyes over FaceTime from her new gig at a Loop security firm. You're playing her game.
Mom.
When do you swap back? Never. I told her. The code sat on an encrypted thumb drive in my safe deposit box at Chase. A Pandora's box I'd sooner torch than touch. Victoria's body was a Ferrari, sleek, untiring, doors opening where mine had slammed shut. At 52 in her 38-year-old shell, I ran marathons along the lakefront trail without wheezing, charmed investors at Alinea dinners with small talk about Napa vintages I'd only read about in Wine Spectator. But nights, they clawed. Her memories leaked still, eidetic flashes of power lunches at Gibson's. The thrill of closing a deal that gutted a rival's pension fund. Weakness is a choice. Her echo taunted. I jolt awake in sweat-soaked Egyptian cotton, punching the pillow until knuckles bled. Deeper cuts came from the ghosts. Tommy's grave in Queen of Heaven Cemetery, under evergreens that whispered judgments. I visited weekly, bouquets of marigolds from the Pilsen Mercado. But the headstone, etched with beloved angel, 2010 to 2018 inch, now mocked. Mercy or murder? The suppressed report nagged, his leukemia terminal, pain meds failing, his small hand in mine as he begged. No more pokes.
Abuela.
Just sleep.
Idenudda.
Tears blurring taillights. The pedal a reluctant mercy. Victoria knew, exploited it, framed the crash to hide her fund skimming, made me the drunk driver in perpetuity. But truth reversed. I was the killer.
She.
The enabler who'd profited from his suffering. Controversy brewed fresh. A whistleblower, Crow, the rat, leaked partial Eidolon files to ProPublica. Body snatching for the elite, the headline screamed, detailing swaps for the ultra-rich, ailing tycoons slipping into younger hosts. Ethics be damned. Protests reignited. End Eidolon hashtags flooding Insta with deepfake memes of me. Victoria's face morphed onto Frankenstein's monster. Late-night slots on Fox grilled Hale heiress me on Hannity. Is this the new opioid crisis? Yes.
Hale?
Playing God with souls. I fired back. Live from the green room. Innovation isn't evil. It's evolution. We've helped 200 vets reclaim their lives. Lies wrapped in half-truths. But the crowd ate it, claps drowning boos.
Inside. Though?
Fracture lines. Decisions loomed. Controversial forks. Dissolve Eidolon entirely. Donate billions to cancer research in Tommy's name? Or weaponize it further. Partial bleeds for white-collar crooks. Forcing empathy into their lizard brains? Maria pushed the former. Burn it.
Mom.
Start clean. Be Lucia again. We met at our old spot. The 18th Street Taqueria, where fluorescent tubes buzzed like fireflies. She looked older, worry lines etching her like my old face. This body's changing you. You're snapping at shadows. Quoting Ayn Rand like some South Shore libertarian. Rand was a bitch. I shot back.
Dunking a chip in salsa verde.
But power? It's the only language they speak. Our talk turned to her kids, my grandkids, shielded from the storm. Keep them away from me, I said. Until it's safe. It wasn't. 2 weeks post-leak. A car bomb outside her Lincoln Park brownstone. Shrapnel shredded the Tesla. But I was at yoga, downward dogging through panic attacks. ATF traced it to a South Side crew, hired by Victoria's jilted board allies, the ones I'd ousted in the pivot. They're coming for the Queen, Maria warned, packing me a go bag. Time to ghost. But ghosts don't run. They haunt. I doubled down. Controversial as a Bears fan booing at Soldier Field. Announced Eidolon 2.0, voluntary justice swaps. Offered to inmates, swap perspectives with victims' families for parole. Pilot program, a Cicero gangbanger bleeds with a grieving mother. Ethical? Debatable. Revolutionary? The ACLU sued. MSNBC called it torture light. But signups flooded. 500 in week 1. From Rikers to Cook County. Victoria stirred then. Not miracle, complication. Her doctor called. Voice like gravel. MS. Hail?
Your.
Associate. She's lucid. Asking for you. I drove up I-90. Autumn leaves slashing windshields like accusations. Elgin State. A gray fortress off the tollway. Smelled of bleach and despair. In her room, my room, once Victoria sat propped. My old body frail under Johnny. Eyes mine but feral. Lucia, she rasped. Voice gravel from disuse. You bitch. You severed me. Poetic. Ain't it? I pulled a chair. Crossing her legs, long.
Toned.
Feel Tommy yet? His bones crunching under mercy. She laughed. A wheeze. Mercy? You ended him. I saw it in the bleed. Your foot. Your high. I covered for you. Idiot. Took the fund heat to bury the report.
Lie?
Truth? Her eyes darted. Scheming still. Join me. Full reverse. We ruled together, 2 minds, 1 empire. Temptation slithered. Serpent slick. Power doubled. Secrets shared. But I saw the hook. She'd rigged the ward. Nurses on payroll. A hidden injector for force swap mid-visit. No, I said, standing. Your throne's mine now. As I left, her scream echoed. You'll rot in this skin. Weak blood. Back in the city. Tension coiled tighter than rush hour on the Dan Ryan. Media hounds bayed. CNN town hall. Me defending swaps as restorative justice, dodging gotchas on consent. What if the victim refuses? A lawyer pressed. Then it's not justice, I parried. Inside, doubt gnawed. Was I healing or haunting? Climax brewed in shadows. Crow vanished, body in the Chicago River. Concrete shoes a nod to Capone.
His laptop.
Swiped pre-dump. Held the kill switch. Expose all Eidolon clients. From senators to starlets. I held it. Poker face at galas. Sipping Veuve while plotting.
Leak it.
Chaos. But her final allies scattered. Hold. Leverage for bigger fish. The mayor's swap with his mistress. Rumored. Maria cornered me at O'Hare. En route to a DC pitch. Found Crow's killer. Victoria's ghost, her lawyer. Still drawing checks from frozen accounts. Paranoia peaked. Run.
Mom.
Or end it. Decision. Controversial apex. I activated the partial on the mayor, bleed during a handshake at a fundraiser. He spasmed mid-toast. Visions of his corruption flooding. Bribes for zoning. Swapped youth for vigor. Collapsed. Babbling indictments. Front page. Mayor mind melt. Eidolon soared. Villain to vigilante overnight. But the cost, her memories surged. Victoria's glee at my mercy kill. Twisted into our sin. We both pulled the trigger, her voice cooed. Twist loomed. Reversal's shadow. In the DC hotel. Burner phone buzzed. Anonymous text. Link to a file. Not hers.
Mine.
Original dashcam.
Adoptord. Tomies face.
Peaceful. Eyes closed pre-impact. No swerve. He'd leaned into the wheel. Small hands guiding. Grandma. Make it easy. Assisted. Yes, but his choice. Whispered pact. Victoria hadn't covered. She discovered post facto. Used it to bind me in silence. Skimming funds as hush for our shared guilt. Reversal. Not my monster.
Ours.
A dyad of despair. I stared at the Potomac from my suite. Lights fracturing like broken vows. Ending neared, happy in power's grip. Or tragic in truth's release. Power's a drug. Deadlier than the coke that blurred that fatal night. In the weeks after the mayor's episode, front page fodder from the Washington Post to the Red Eye, Eidolon legacy became Chicago's Frankenstein. Beloved and reviled. Venture capital poured in from Sand Hill Road suits. Dazzled by the Justice Tech angle. I keynote at South by Southwest. Her voice, smooth as bourbon, pitch perfect. Neural empathy isn't punishment. It's bridge building in a divided city. Crowds cheered. But online? Threads dissected me. Hails a hack. Stole Ramirez's sob story for profit. Body snatch queen trended. Memes of my face on alien chests. Controversy? My oxygen. I greenlit the pilot swaps. First, a Englewood mom whose son fell to stray bullets. Bleeding perspectives with the shooter in Cook County lockup. Post-session. He inked a truce with her block, tattoos traded for community service. Miracles sold papers. But ethics panels howled, coerced confession. Lawsuits stacked like cordwood at the merchandise mart. Maria kept tabs. Her PI instincts sharper than ever. You're slipping?
Mom.
Saw you at the opera, laughing with those vipers like Victoria.
The Met in secret now.
Neutral ground, a food truck rally in Millennium Park. Summer heat waving off elotes, like regret. Her kids, my blood, stayed faceless on calls. Shielded. They ask about Abuela Lucia. The real one. The real one's dead, I muttered. Lime juice stinging a paper cut. This is survival. but lies curdled. Nights in the brownstone, now fortified with ring cams and panic rooms. I'd trace scars that weren't mine. Victoria's C-section from an abortion hushed by NDAs. Her secrets bled freer. Affairs with senators. A daughter's suicide buried as overdose. Guilt funneled into Eidolon as absolution tech. Victoria? She clawed back lucidity in Elgin, scheming from her bed like a spider in webs of visitor logs. Her lawyer, slimy as a Lake Michigan smelt, slipped me a note during a welfare check. She's talking.
About the boy.
Your foot on the pedal. Bluff. Or leak. Paranoia peaked. I hacked the ward's cams. Watched her whisper to mirrors. My face contorting in rage. Come back. Lucia. Finish what we started. Finish. The word hooked deep. My controversial calls escalated. Expand bleeds to corporate offenders. A loop banker. Cooked books that tanked retirements. Swapped anguish with a laid-off steelworker's widow. He resigned mid-session, weeping on CNBC. Stock boomed 40%, but Fed circled. DOJ subpoena for Eidolon logs.
Sniffing Rico.
Tension strung taut as a Kennedy Expressway merge. Assassins? Hired shadows twice more. Poison espresso at Intelligentsia. A tale on the red line that ended in a scuffle under flickering fluorescence. Maria's crew, ex-badges turned bodyguards, neutralized them. Zip ties and zip lips. Her network's fracturing, she reported. But you're the target now. Swap back. Disappear to Oaxaca like Dad dreamed.
Oaxaca.
Beaches. Moles simmering in clay pots. Anonymity in straw hats. Tempting. But power whispered sweeter. Dismantle her from the throne. Climax ignited at the annual Biotech Summit. McCormick Place. Glass halls echoing with TED-flavored bullshit. I was keynote again. 5,000 in the audience, VCs.
Pauls.
Protesters chained outside chanting, souls aren't stock. Podium lights hot as interrogation lamps. I launched Eidolon 3.0, Global Justice Net. Bleed borders. Cartels feel migrants' treks. CEOs taste factory floors. Applause thundered. But mid-slide a hack. Screens flickered. Not my deck. The footage, the crash.
Raw.
Tommy's bike weaving. My Bentley loaned. Yes, but his hand waving. Signaling. Then impact. Deliberate lean. Audio crackled. My voice. Pre-recorded by Victoria? Hold on. Me, Joe. It'll be quick. Gasps rippled. Chaos. Shouts. Phones flashing. Security swarming. I froze. Her poise cracking. Deepfake. I barked into the mic. Sabotage. But the reversal hit live. Watermark verified. Source my own server. Hacked?
No.
Uploaded by me. Subconscious leak during a bleed fugue. Audience murmured. X exploding. Lucia killer. Backstage. Maria burst in. Face thunder. Victoria's people. They got crow's code. Partial reverse. You're glitching.
Mom.
Her memories rewriting yours. Truth sliced. The pact wasn't just his. I'd prepped the route. Told him one last ride. Euthanasia. Mutual. Victoria discovered. Didn't cover, blackmailed. Join my board. Or it goes public. I'd agreed. Embezzled to fund her silence. Framed myself in the nonprofit scam to bury deeper. She swapped to erase me fully. Take the clean empire. Reversal. I wasn't victim. Accomplice. Her mirror. Her monster. Feds waited in the green room, cuffs ready for material witness. I bolted, heels clicking on convention hall marble, into the fray. Protesters parted, eyes accusatory. Murderer, one yelled. Sign drooping. End Eidolon now. Maria's then idled curbside, engine growling. Get in. We reverse it now. In the safe house, a Logan Square attic smelling of dust and dreams, I faced the injector. Crow's final rig, humming on a card table. Do it, she urged. Be you again. Needle bit. Fire in synapses. Bleed reversed, her thoughts ebbing.
Mine surging, caluses.
Chemo scars. Tommy's laugh unfiltered. But the twist clung, guilt shared, irreversible. As Victoria's face faded in the mirror, my own emerging, I whispered, we both die with it. Sirens wailed distant.
Ending?
Flight to shadows. Or stand for the debatable gray. Word count, 992. File 4/4. Dawn broke over the safe house like a reluctant confessor. Pink streaks on graffiti-tagged bricks, painting the skyline in hues of faded glory. The reverse bleed left me hollowed. A husk of two women stitched wrong. Lucia's face stared back from the cracked mirror, crow's feet deeper. Lips chapped from years of bitten-back truths, but Victoria's ghosts lingered. Echoes in the hollows. Power was ours.
Don't squander it.
Maria paced. Burner phone glued to ear. Coordinating extraction. Flights booked, private. Out of Midway. Fake passports, your Elena to Cancun. Then overland to Oaxaca. Her voice cracked. First time since the badges. Kids'll meet you. Fresh start.
Fresh.
The word mocked. Like promising spring after a polar vortex. Tommy's file burned in my gut, not just mercy, but conspiracy. I'd inked the pact with Victoria post-crash, her silence for board seats. My donations, embezzled crumbs, funding her Eidolon prototype. She swapped to consolidate, my body as patsy vessel. Her sins uploaded clean. Reversal complete. We'd co-authored the hell. A duet of denial. Feds hammered the door by noon, warrants for fraud. Conspiracy. The summit's hack trace to my IP. Maria's diversions bought ours. Smoke bombs in alleys. A decoy van screeching south on Cicero. We slipped out the fire escape. Hearts pounding like congas at a Humboldt Park block party. Midway's underbelly reeked of jet fuel and fried dough from Harold's chicken shacks. Private hangar. A Gulfstream idling like a getaway car from a heist flick. Go, Maria said, hugging fierce. I'll handle the fallout, lawyers.
Leaks.
Keep the fund alive for Tommy's kids. On board, leather seats swallowing me whole. I clutched the go bag. Drive with Eidolon kill switch. Tommy's photo laminated against Bill's. Pilot, a grizzled ex-Marine with a drawl, nodded. Wheels up in 5.
Mang.
Cancun heat slapped like a wet towel. Humidity curling my hair into frizzed defiance. Rental jeep to the bus station. Then south. Yucatan roads winding through cenotes blue as forgotten promises. Oaxaca, by dusk. 2 days of dust and doubt. The city unfolded. Zocalo alive with mariachis. Mezcal stands hawking wormy bottles. Indigenous women in hupils hawking textiles that whispered of roots deeper than mine. The house. Adobe on a hillside.
Rented Saint-Insigne via Maria's contact.
View of the valley. Agave fields silver under moon.
Inside.
Sparse hammock. Clay pots. A Virgin de Guadalupe icon watching from the wall. I collapsed. body aching from the swap's toll, phantom pains where her youth had masked my wear. Nights blurred into vigils. I'd walk the mercado at dawn, bargaining for nopales and remembering Pilsen's vendors. The same haggling fire in Spanish rhythms. But the ghosts followed, Victoria's voice in dreams. Plotting comebacks. You're weak alone. Call the board, reclaim it. I'd wake sweating. Rosary beads cutting palms.
Controversy crossed the borders via VPN.
Back home, Eidolon dissolved under injunctions. Assets auctioned for victim funds. Maria's updates. Mayor resigned. Singing like Sinatra.
Victoria?
Transferred to Supermax Psych, your old body. Her mind fracturing daily. Justice? Or Echo? My decision, the kill switch. Uploaded anonymously to WikiLeaks. Client list spilling, tycoons unmasked. Swaps reversed in scandals from Wall Street to Hollywood. Chaos global. Eidolon exposed riots in Silicon Valley. Congressional hearings grilling the Ramirez woman.
Me? Ghosted.
But whispers reached. She torched it all. Hero or hubris? Debatable ending brewed slow. Months in. Grandkids arrived. Maria's jet lag masked by hugs. Sophia. 10. With Tommy's eyes. Abuela. Why the new house? Like a fort.
Mateo.
7. Building Lego ziggurats. I cooked mole negro. Stories of Chicago winters.
El Día de los Muertos alters for Tommy. Candles flickering on marigold paths.
But the reversal clung one night. Sophia asked, "Did you hurt Grandpa Tommy?" Maria's glare silenced. But seeds planted. Truth's a virus. Mutating. Final controversial act. Partial bleed on myself. Voluntary. Injector rigged from salvaged parts. Smuggled in go bag. No crow. Just memory. Flashes. The pact. His smile as wheels turned. Not murder.
Abuela.
Love. Victoria's laugh faded. Replaced by peace, gray. Not black.
Now, Oaxaca mornings.
Tending a garden of chilies and regrets. Power's illusion. Revenge a mirror shattering on impact. Happy? In small joys, Sophia's laughter echoing valleys. Tragic? In the what-ifs. Tommy's ghost a gentle haunt. Debatable? Like life's ledger, credits in survival. Debits in souls swapped. I am Lucia Ramirez, widow. Grandmother. Survivor. The swap ended. But the story? It debates on. In every choice unmade.